That's not even English.
Let's go, baby.
No, into here.
Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby.
No, you gotta say it clear, otherwise you won't be able to hear it.
Let's go, baby.
All right, so what's new?
Nothing that fast.
Yeah, I want to hear about the fast for sure.
It wasn't like. So, Jade started it on Sunday. I don't know exactly when she started it.
Was it
Sunday?
planned?
Like, not really. She had not eaten. She ate early the night before, and then like later that night, she's like, "I think I want to do it." So, or the next morning. I think it was
Okay,
Sunday night.
yeah.
She ate at like early dinner or something like that. And then I had eaten, I don't know. So I was like almost 24 hours behind her.
Oh, okay.
So she was like, I'm going to
Okay.
do it. And I'm like, okay, well, I might as well just do it now too.
Yeah.
So I did like, she did full 72 hours and I ended up doing like 50 or something. But
Okay.
yeah, it was good. For her, it was like the exact same stuff that like we.
Funny.
Was
you
that her
mentioned
first time fasting that long or?
For,
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she does like, so she eats pretty regular. Like she's like eats her breakfast 2 or 3 hours later, eats this.
Yeah, me
next
too.
Eats this.
Yeah.
So this is what we kind of figured from the first time we did it, that like people who aren't used to eating, like
On a
the
longer
first day
period,
was
yeah.
easy for me because like if
Yeah.
you don't eat till like noon each day, you
Yeah.
kind of are used to that like sensation of fasting, like not
Just the
like,
hunger feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not like your body's kind of already programmed to not like expect food at a certain time. Like
Yeah.
even if noon came around for me, like sometimes it would be like 3 or 4 before. Like if I was busy at noon for a couple hours, like I wouldn't eat till after that. So
Yeah.
I could pretty easily go all day without eating and not be like
Yeah.
feeling it physically or even like energy wise. So anyways, we're like, I think it's because even for someone that's normally like you right, like or
Yeah.
whatever, that eats
on a schedule.
on a
literally
schedule?
Has
Yeah.
a schedule. Yeah.
to have that taken away, you instantly are like, meal 1, your body's
It's-
like, shit, I haven't had breakfast yet,
Yeah.
I'm hungry, let alone meal 2 and 3.
It's
So
weird.
she like kind of went through that a little bit, but
I think it comes in waves quite a bit because, like, I mean, I haven't been going for that long, but I haven't eaten today. Like, the last time I ate was like last night, probably around 8 o'clock.
so are you trying to do it right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing the 24-hour first and then seeing how I feel from there.
So-
and if I'm like, you know,
So what hour are you on?
So you're gonna eat after this?
no,
Tonight?
no. I'm gonna eat. I think I'm gonna go all the way through the night and then eat
Tomorrow.
You might as
tomorrow
well
morning.
because
Yeah.
like, or just keep going. Like if you
Yeah, I'm gonna
wake up
do-
tomorrow
yeah,
morning,
that's
you're
the
not like
plan.
dying. But it was funny because she had the same thing. It's like that little headache that ended up coming,
Yeah.
and like mine actually stayed. But like I think yours and like some other people that had gone away, and like
Yeah.
it was just like you got to keep busy.
Yeah,
As soon as you
100%.
get home and like whatever, like sitting around or even here, like like you
Yeah,
start thinking
that's
about
the
it. Then
hardest
that's when
part.
you're hungry. It's
Yeah.
not like you're
Yeah,
actually
when you're
like,
not doing something, that's when it's
Right,
the
when
hardest.
you're
I
not
find
busy.
like it's honestly more like it's better if you're not eating productive wise. Like I feel like I've been so much more productive because I'm not worried about eating, right? Like
especially if you're that type of person that's
Yeah.
not like comfortably eating on the fly.
Yeah.
like that. Like it's not even. It's more of like a habitual thing.
yeah.
So I think that
For
starts to like
sure.
stress people out that don't have that or whatever. But and then they're even more so, thinking about it throughout the day. So
Yeah.
that like it. I think I lost a few pounds, a little bit. And then
Yeah.
I'm pretty much right back to like it was shitty because I was like on the Sunday morning I had kind of eaten a little more than normal on the weekend, and that was the first time I saw 229 on the scale.
Oh shit.
And that's like for us, it's
Yeah.
like I'm trying to gain weight and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, of course now I gotta like, but realistically, it's not gonna like I'm back there now
Yeah.
already. So
It's the weight loss seems to be super temporary because it's,
and
you know what I
it
mean?
think
varies from person to person.
Yeah.
Like the first time, I hardly lost any weight, and we did like a full 72 hours. And I mean, if you care about your weight and you're doing it for weight, I think you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Yeah,
anyway.
100%. Like
Right.
it's not something that's like a sustainable weight loss thing, right? Like I've heard of people doing a fast once a week. Then I could see like, I mean, it's probably not the best way to like
I
lower
just-
your.
if you're trying to do
caloric
it,
intake.
if you're trying to do
Yeah.
it to keep a certain weight goal down, I don't
Yeah.
think that's right.
No, 100%.
mindset to have towards it.
Not sustainable, and it's just like there's way better ways to go about it, anyways.
Yeah.
right. But
And she, like I was saying, at a certain time, throughout the halfway through or
Yeah.
whatever it is, started to like I should be tired. I expect myself to be tired, but I'm like clear
That's
and ready
what
to
people
go.
don't understand,
I
right?
know.
People are like, "Oh man, like you're probably gonna be tired, gassed, right?" But it's just
Yeah.
like
Sometimes
no,
I
you
find
are.
the opposite, actually.
You get a burst of energy,
Yeah.
randomly, and you're just like, wow, like
Well, I've
when
also had
we
a ton
did
of
it,
black
we still
coffee.
like worked out. I came in for
Yeah.
workouts, and you're like, oh man, I got to do this workout, right? And then you start going through the workout, and without even thinking, you're just like working
Yeah.
out, and you're working out as usual, hard, whatever.
Yeah,
and
it's just like you think you're gonna feel a certain way, so you
Yeah.
convince you
Yeah.
think, and then you have to like be open minded enough to realize like maybe that's not actually how I'm feeling. Do have energy.
Yeah.
And shit.
Man, I had one of the best pumps I've ever had today.
Yeah.
No food, and
Yeah.
I waited till like what, maybe
Strange.
2:30,
Yeah.
2:30 like p.m. And I'm like, wow, like this is a really good workout for no reason. Like I shouldn't
Yeah.
be having this good workout, but
It's
don't
funny
know.
though. First time we did it, this guy calls me in the morning and he's like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" I was like, "Going to work, man." He's like, "When's the last time you ate?" I was like, "Last night." He's like, "I'm doing a fast." You said I'm doing a fast, and I was like, "Oh, sick." And he's like, "When's the last time you ate?" I was like, "Last night." He's like, "All right, well you're in, man." And it was there. I had my food. with
voluntold
me.
right there. Don't eat.
I had my lunch, everything with me, and I'm just like, I had like a full on meal prep or whatever that
Oh,
I
God.
usually prep my meals throughout the whole,
Yeah.
like, on a Sunday. This was a Sunday, and I prepped my food to like Wednesday, and I'm like, well, there goes my food.
yeah, that would be the most
Right.
difficult part for me is
But
if
it
I
was just
had
like-
food ready to eat, then it's a problem.
And then I was like, all right, cool, no problem. Like, I was like, let's do it. Why not? So
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
the first time, and it was just like, it
So
was
you-
so strange.
You did 72 hours?
Yeah, we did
Okay.
72 hours the first time, and then
Jeez.
I did another one in the beginning of summer, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to try doing it like every 4 months or whatever. So
Yeah.
the next one is probably gonna be like in September sometime,
Okay.
and I'll do that, and then the other one probably, I don't know, maybe after Christmas.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
interesting, right? Because I mean, I've read up on a lot of the benefits of it, and man, it just seems like something cool to even experiment with,
Yeah.
even if it's not proven. I find that even more intriguing if it's not like absolutely proven in writing. So like, I just want to see for myself if these benefits seem to be
And,
true.
and you know
right?
what's interesting too? Like I heard like people do also like no water as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
Some
if I
people
do.
go like.
Then I could see headaches happening,
Yeah.
and then you see
Well,
some of the negative.
I was listening. It just came up, and like people do like long, like people do like 20, 30 days.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And I'm
wow.
like, what? I can't even fathom that.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
wild.
And that's a legit fast too, eh? Like 20, 30 days.
well,
of,
you
like,
gotta think
nothing
about
but
it.
water.
Well, back in the day, what did they do? Right, they hunted for the
But
food.
I think
so it's like
Yeah.
if you can't eat
You
for
can't
like
eat, it's too bad.
30 days. You
I
gotta-
would never do that. I mean, I never say never, but like I have no interest in doing that. But I think a lot of it comes down to the same thing that's like Jade's like, there's no way at a certain point I'm going to start feeling clear. Right? Like as far
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
mindset. So it's like, I just can't fathom being functional doing 20 or 30 days. But I'm
Yeah.
sure there is a point where you're just like, there has to be. Otherwise, people would just like,
It'd
Well,
be
some
interesting.
people
die.
probably are genetically predisposed to handle fasting better than others, right? Like,
I don't think that people I don't think that people anyone this is just a guess, but like if some out of the people that do long fasts,
Yeah.
like I don't think they're like I don't think even some of those people are like cooped up in their bed because they can't
No.
move and shit.
No.
Well, I think they just keep on going about their day.
I
Yeah,
know,
I
so
mean,
it's that
like-
same aspect of like having a clear mind at a certain point. After 2 weeks, you might just be like, how rocket fuel.
Right, and
Yeah.
it's like it will be interesting to see like how it affects different types of people with different types of jobs that they do. Right,
Yeah.
like a lawyer, a police officer.
Yeah, true.
100%.
Whatever.
Somebody
right?
working construction, even like
Right,
somebody doing laborous jobs,
construction.
like it
Yeah.
can get tough.
Or
So-
just mind power too, like
Right.
if you
Yeah.
needed to like be able to just sit down and read or like
Yeah. Or,
like,
analyze
like-
paper,
like-
write shit.
Imagine
Yeah.
a surgeon, he's performing like heart surgery, and he's
Man, I
on
wouldn't
like
want my surgeon fasting
96
for-
hours, right? He's like, I got one more hour to go, but I'm like putting,
But on the flip side, like I'm sure there's an aspect to like professionals like that if
But
they have
he's then
only
on-
do surgeries in the morning because they don't fast, or
Right.
like I'm sure even fasting before a surgery at noon
Yeah.
would be super beneficial.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, they tell you when I had my shoulder surgery, they told me not to eat for like.
Yeah, I mean the person
12,
doing
16
Yeah,
it.
the
hours,
surgeon
but the
and
person, the
themselves.
surgeon. So it's like, what if he's like super dialed in? You know what I mean?
What's
He's
the
like,
best way to be dialed in is like
Right.
when you're
Fasted
fasted,
you're
on
fasted, yeah.
completely like
30
in that-
milligrams of
Yeah.
Adderall. Like,
Yeah, right, maybe. I don't know if I want that guy working on me though
Yeah.
either. He's just gonna
5
stay in there
coffees and
because
2
he wants
Adderalls.
shit to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you don't need the other knee done, but I'm really wired, so like, let's just do the other knee
Right,
now too.
right.
Well, another thing is too, like I thought about this in religion in general. It's like so, like it's been a huge cultural thing for so many cultures. Fasting,
Well, yeah, the Muslims
Like,
do it like.
Yeah.
and
What did they do it once a year?
Yeah.
Once a year for like 30
Yeah.
days or whatever.
Yeah,
and
Ramadan or
They
whatever.
just do it like for a whole month.
yeah,
But
or even
they-
like
they-
monks too. Like monks are
Monks,
like
yeah.
but that's a whole different like meditative
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
So
they probably
that's
do
what
it.
I found super interesting. I listened to a podcast, old one, Joe Rogan with Jesse Itzler. I don't know if you guys have. listened to that
probably
one.
have.
He lived with the monks for a while, and I was
Yeah.
like so interested in like meditation and like fasting and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
wanted to try it out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm definitely, like I said, I'll keep doing it,
Yeah,
and maybe I'll attempt like instead of 72 hours, go 96. See how
Yeah.
that goes.
But what I wanted
Yeah.
to say was like when I started doing it, I was like, oh yeah, I'll do it with you, no problem. One thing I found that like, I mean, you've done it twice now, so like but like the second time I expected it to be easy. Like, and I was like, oh, this is just like the first time.
Right.
Like, it's not
Nothing
like I can't
changed, yeah.
not like it's not part of my it. Yeah, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a breeze, and it was all the difficult times, like blah blah
Yeah.
blah, like was the exact same. It
Mine
didn't
was
get
pretty much
easier
the same
necessarily.
thing.
That's
yeah.
interesting.
It was,
Yeah.
it was just the same, and you expect but the second time around you expect what's gonna happen, so you already know like what's happening.
Yeah,
Whereas in
but
the
I-
very
I
first
s-
time
I
you don't
guess
know
there's
what
that.
happens,
yeah,
right?
and it might not even be the same, but there's like probably some sort of placebo effect for you to feel certain things, because
Maybe, yeah.
like sleep is definitely like you're gonna if you had a shitty sleep, you'll probably like tend to feel it more if you're fasted. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I think you'd
Point,
probably
yeah.
feel your other like bodily factors when you are fasted because there's nothing else kind of blurring.
And
it.
then also in what's happening in your life right now currently, right? Like what if you're under
Yeah,
stress
Yeah,
or
that's
whatever?
true, for sure.
You'll probably be
does
more
that play
prone
a-
to
right? Is
not
how
eat
does
or-
that play a factor? or Whatever, So, but definitely, I mean, I would definitely recommend people trying it out. Just even
Yeah.
24 hours, like
Yeah.
you're trying a 24 hours just to see how it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Just
then-
more so for like the reset of just the gut biome
Yeah.
and stuff
Right.
like that. And then like if I'm starting a new diet,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Then I'm reset. You
It
know what I
definitely
mean?
makes you like mine wasn't permanent by any means, but it definitely makes you like more observant of like what you eat too.
Mm-hmm.
And then the breaking
Oh,
the
yeah, I
fast
bet.
is also
Yeah.
like a big one, right? So you don't want to screw that one up.
Yeah,
'cause it
like
can
just eating pizza and
throw you,
donuts
like,
right.
in
Oh my
disarray,
god.
right?
We had like Jade basically like I gave her what I did and then she did her own research. So we basically did the same thing me and you did. Bone broth, kombucha, and then like a little bit later had like a steak and some nuts and like a salad and stuff. But
Yeah.
I
That's
was
how you
like-
ended your fast? That's how you started introducing
Yeah,
food back? Okay.
yeah.
a lot of people saying like just like steak, meat, whatever.
So I did it and I was like, damn. Like I was like, okay, I'm 50 hours in. I'm like, this is like just a long day or 2 days, I guess. But anyways, I was like, 50 hours. I basically didn't do it really.
Right.
And so I'm eating dinner. I'm like, I'm gonna need some sugar after this. So we was like, so I went to I got like, and I'm like completely aware like this is not a good thing to do. Like I understand
still
what I'm doing
purposely,
is like
going to the store.
I understand that what
attention.
I'm doing and how I did it is like almost makes it somewhat irrelevant that I even did it in the first place. And so I went to the pizza place and got this. They make those like cinnamon knots, like like garlic knots.
Yeah.
but they're
Yeah.
like ones with. So I was like, what kind of desserts do you guys have?
That's the
I'm like,
only one.
I'm like Jade. Like I'm thinking like fuck. Like I'm not being. This is not good for her because obviously
Right.
it's more like she might feel it more if she just starts eating like this now, right? So of course I was like, what do you have? And what desserts do you have? She says, we have the cinnamon knots, basically we can make them glazed or with just the cinnamon. I'm like, okay,
Just
give
toss
me one
everything.
box of each, please. And then I got home and just like she had
crush it?
she had a cup. I'm like, Jade, I'm not trying to be like the dickhead to be like, don't eat, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, you might feel that, like if you keep
Yeah,
eating.
yeah.
So then I just crushed it.
Did you crush one on your way home though?
No.
No, you didn't just open the
No,
boxes.
the one thing I did do was like I ate dinner and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna set a timer on my watch, 30 minutes. So I watched TV for like 30 minutes, and every like 2 minutes I was seeing if it was 30 minutes.
That 30
so I
minutes was long.
the only thing I did positive about the dessert was I waited 30 minutes after dinner.
That's
But did it
interesting,
affect you
actually.
anything?
Not really.
No, no.
It probably not. I mean, not that like it probably. I lost some of the like.
Benefits?
Yeah, maybe.
Well,
like,
probably like you were probably like you lost a lot of inflammation. You felt
Well,
like you lost a lot of that just gross salt
yeah.
water in between the skin.
and then I
just
woke
the
up, and
bloat.
my eyes were like puffy again.
then-
Not they weren't, but like you. Yeah, you felt like
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I ate some shit last night.
Yeah.
Man,
So yeah,
that's
I
the
mean,
worst feeling in the world.
Yeah.
knowing you just like you wake up and your stomach's just heavy the next day.
It's almost like now. I don't know. You're still like you probably don't get this yet, but like I just feel almost like hungover. If
Yes.
I not like hung, but like I'm like
Weird.
Yeah.
I hate eating.
Oh.
Like-
yeah, no, I feel that quite a bit actually.
Cloudy, I guess
Yeah.
I would call it. Right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Especially if you're pretty consistent with your diet and then you introduce shitty food.
and
I feel
depends
it
how
a
much too.
lot.
Like
yeah,
if I eat like
true
a
also.
pizza and then dessert after dessert,
Oh,
You're
I'm
just
like
crushing it.
I sleep like garbage.
The sleepers, yeah.
I
you
wake up
can't.
4 or 5 times in the middle of the night, go down, chug water,
Mm.
and then I wake up like just like groggy basically, and like
Yeah.
you can tell like you need it's the type of thing where you know you need just like a
And
good
it's like
workout
you
to
all-
sweat out the shit.
And
Yeah.
it probably like for me, it's like it takes a whole day to like
Yeah.
the whole day is like
Yeah.
shot for me. It's like I can't
Yeah.
really do anything.
But it's wild how much one good like if you just go have a really good workout, I'm like okay, I'm
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
not,
and you're
not like
back.
telling myself like I outdid what I did.
Yeah.
It's just more so
Right.
like oh I feel like sharp again type.
Yeah.
like refreshed.
yeah,
Yeah.
Did you run this week?
I did. Running was great. Running in Toronto, dude. That's something
Yeah.
you gotta. Running in Toronto.
I feel like my pace would be
You carry a weapon around
Yeah, I was
you or
gonna say my
something?
pace would be
Like-
so much faster.
No,
Not even kidding. Like,
this
do you
is
carry
no.
the-
Like
your
seriously,
knife on
no,
you?
nothing. Which I actually should.
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, you probably
I
should.
mean, I've ran through some alleys, and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have probably turned down
Yeah.
this way or whatever. But this is wild actually because you got to think about Toronto is like what, like 2 million people, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like it's massive, give or take, whatever. But when I ran there, it was. I don't like sleeping away from home. It's just it's just strange or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like you're more comfortable sleeping at home. I can't really sleep good, so I wake up super early. I usually wake up, 5:30, 6. That's regular when I wake up. In Toronto, I've been waking up at like 4:30, dude.
Yeah.
It's like you wake up 4:30, and then you're wide awake. So it's like I might as well just go run, right? And man, you get out.
No one's out there.
No one. I mean, no one.
That'd
The
probably be
city,
interesting to see.
It is crazy to see. I mean, just everybody knows Toronto being like, it's
Nonstop,
always
yeah.
Yeah,
nonstop
go,
buzzing.
go,
right?
yeah.
It's constantly buzzing, no matter what. 4:30, 5 a.m. or whatever, nothing. There's literally not a person on the street, and whoever is on the street is either a bum still sleeping,
Yeah.
but it's like dead. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then you just run, and you run main streets, side streets,
Alleys.
and alleys, which you probably
Yeah, for
it
sure.
is
Careful,
sketchy. I mean,
yeah.
no doubt, no questions asked. But it's very strange running that early in a city that has so many people, without anyone being on the street. You got
Yeah.
you got those streetcars driving around empty. It's so strange. But anyways, I ran there and it felt great. And literally, an hour later, 6:37,
Yeah. It's
boom.
yeah.
Yeah.
People just everywhere.
They're just
People going to
appearing.
work, doing whatever. But it is just strange to see. It feels like almost COVID times, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, just
there's
a ghost town at that time.
It's ghost.
Yeah.
It's literally a scene out of a movie where there's like people just disappeared.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how it felt. But anyways, it felt great running.
How much did you run? Like, what do you run in the mornings there? 5?
I do 5s. I
Yeah.
usually do
You?
5s.
You've been running?
Yeah, I remember I took a couple days off, but I didn't run today because I didn't know how it would go with the fasting. But I ran 15 kilometers on what was it? The day after I was
Yeah.
So I ran that 12.
Did you
when I
feel
was
the
here.
15? Like, were you sore and shit?
Yeah, but like I'll be sore for the first few minutes of the run, like maybe the first 2 kilometers, and then.
Well, what about after? Like, next
After?
day and stuff?
Oh, I'm good. Like I've adapted to it
Recovery's
pretty
good,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just did. I think I was telling you. I did. It was funny. That's when I was like it was the Tuesday. It was Tuesday. So that night So I was like 48 hours into the fast, and I did a workout. Same. I had like the best workout.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh man, like it was perfect. I have no more excuses now with like weather
Yeah.
and this
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'll go for a little run, and then after I work out, so I think I went for like 6.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh, I think I should go for a little ride now too.
Yeah.
So then I went for like a 20K ride. It was pretty easy. Like both of them were pretty easy. But like that night I couldn't even, like, my knees were like
Oh, man.
After the
hurting.
fact.
Yeah, like that night,
Well, I
yeah.
feel like those are some like decent numbers
getting
to
old,
delve
bud.
into right away.
Well, it's just like I'm
kinda-
not like, because I would do that. No, like it's just the
Yeah,
like
that's
if
like
you stop
breakfast
running for like
when
2
you're-
weeks or
yeah.
something, or more. I think those first couple runs back, you're like, oh, my knees need to get adjusted to this. Because I was like, oh, I didn't expect the knees and everything, but
Yeah, but it also felt good to go back to a gym too, right? Running only it's fine, you do it, but I do
Yeah.
need the weights, right? It's just
Yeah, oh, man,
you know, like
100%.
I don't go to a gym for like 2 or 3 days. It's like, man, almost to a point where it's like depressing.
Yeah,
you know
for
what I
sure.
mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, like I just like sure running is good, feels good, but then you just gotta have a pump.
Yeah, no, literally. If I
and-
ran and didn't lift, I'd probably be more upset than if I just didn't lift and didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I
if you
feel
have to
like I
pick
would
one
look
or
like
the
a
other,
skinny
yeah.
fat string
Right.
bean if I, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's interesting because some people are like, well, I mean, endurance athletes are the exact opposite. Like,
yeah,
they don't
it's just
really
what
want to
you
lift.
love. Like
Yeah.
some people don't.
and
like.
I have no interest in being like on either side of the spectrum, but I enjoy combining them both.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
even like I've been doing a lot of conditioning after my workouts. Like, I think you motivate me to do like the ropes a lot, and I've been doing ropes and ball slams.
Ropes
and
are
like,
awesome, man.
I kind of
slam.
threw away like the idea of reps, and I was like, you know what? Like, I
Yeah.
take everything else to failure. Like, why don't I just forget about a number and just like
I've
alternate?
been really curious about that, like, 2 things. I've kind of been, as I'm down there, like, figuring out where they can go. I've been saying it for a long time, need to get a rower.
Oh, roller.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely a rower, but
Yeah.
also those
Ski ergs?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
man.
they don't take up a lot of space, and like, it's
Yeah.
just the stuff, like, the stuff you can add in,
Yeah.
like ropes, bike, ball slams.
Yeah, man, the ski erg is interesting because that's like the big thing in High Rocks. I don't know,
Yeah.
you guys familiar with High Rocks? You actually you
Yeah.
were the one who was telling me about that, and I don't even remember the name. And then I seen it pop up on my YouTube, or
Yeah.
I think Nick Bear started doing it. So I was like, holy shit, this is what
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
talking about. And
It's pretty new. It's like,
Yeah.
it's cool. I don't know.
It's pretty
I
cool.
could see myself trying it.
100%. That's
I
what
just
it's
got to
kinda
get
been.
some of the stuff. Like, I don't know. Like, is everyone the same?
The principle of them are the
But
same.
the exercises are different.
But the exercises vary, I believe. There's actually one coming to Toronto
I know.
soon. Yeah.
That's the one that someone here's doing.
Okay. Oh, really?
As
Yeah.
a group or just individual?
Individual.
Okay, 'cause I think you can do teams, but I don't know if they're
Like a
separate
relay?
competitions. Yeah, something
Or
like
something,
that.
yeah.
But yeah, I find it interesting because
It's like a run. It's like basically a 1K run. I could be butchering this. This is like a 1K run, and then you do a
functional
lift. So
movement,
like
yeah, so-
the ones I've seen is like a certain amount of distance on like the ski,
erg.
like ball slams,
Sled
burpees, sled push,
Yeah.
row. I think I'm
Yeah.
sure is in there,
And
and then you
there's-
do another K run. and then
Yeah.
you do a different exercise. Then you do a 1K run, a different exercise. So like,
Yeah.
that's why I was saying this stuff out here where we could do something like this relatively easy.
Oh,
like
yeah.
we could do, because that's what me and you
That's what I've been
did.
doing for conditioning,
We
lately,
did
like
that
on the
so
assault runner.
randomly a few
Because if you
times.
go around the parking lot, it's
Yeah.
half a K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we would leave the door open and do like anything, like just do like 30 clean and press or something, and
Yeah.
then go for a run, and then like back and forth. And so 2 laps around is a K.
Yeah, he just came up that day to me and he's like, "Hey, like, you want to do a workout?" I was like, "All right, so this is what we're gonna do. It's like, you know, I'll start with whatever clean
Yeah,
it was,
yeah.
or like sit-ups, whatever, and you go run the block. So I go run the block while he's doing the
And then when he
exercise.
gets back, I go
come
run.
back into the door.
I love that
and
kinda
then
stuff
he just
right
goes
now.
run.
Yeah, like we can do one
Let's do it.
this weekend.
Yeah,
it
we'll
was-
do one tomorrow if you guys are down. Or
What's
the next
tomorrow?
day.
Saturday. Actually,
Saturday.
probably could do one tomorrow
Yeah.
afternoon.
Yeah.
Because we could do like, you know what? Actually, we should bring out that other
sled.
sled so we can use it
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
Well,
'Cause you got
the
sled on
wheeled one?
wheels,
I have
yeah.
2 of them.
Yeah. Oh,
I have
yeah, there's
that
one
one
at the,
and
in
then
the
one
tucked
over
in the
there.
back there.
Yeah.
I
So
wasn't
we
sure if
could do
was
that.
broken or something.
Like a ropes, the bike, or no? Because you want to like. I think the fun part about it is getting in some like you could do the sled. You know, like 20 clean and press of just like
Yeah.
dumbbell or barbell or
Yeah.
whatever.
Dumbbell squat. I like the dumbbell clean and press. Is
Yeah,
pretty cool.
And then anything else, really, like any
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
exercises.
Yeah,
like,
you could do anything really, like push-ups or bodyweight squats. Bodyweight squats might be just a burner. That might be fun
Yeah.
because everything it's like
You just
super lower
run.
body.
We
You're
should
Like
do
sled
too.
squats and running is wild lower
I
body.
wonder how we'd have to figure it out time wise. So if you do a K, let's say 6-ish.
Yeah, 6-ish.
So 6 times what? If you did
Well, even if you did
4 exercises, so 6 times 4 is 24.
24, yeah.
And then you gave, say, 5 minutes per movement. Mm-hmm. So what I say, 4 laps. So we'd need 4
Yeah.
exercises.
Yeah.
So one we could do each and just rotate through them, and then
Yeah.
there could be one exercise where we all do them together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like we all run at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to plan this out. So if you do all the runs at 6-ish, that's 24 minutes, and then you give this 5 minutes per movement. There's 20, so there's 45-minute workout.
Yeah.
So how would you do it? We each start at a separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
workout?
I have-
or we all
you
start
have
with a
ro-
run.
we
Right?
all
We all
start
start with the run and then we all come back and we alternate the exercises that we're doing every time we come back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like you start on the ropes, I start on the cleans, you start on the push-ups.
Or,
And then there's
Yeah.
or there's
Yeah.
push-ups
Come back.
together. We do all
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do ropes, cleans,
Ball slams,
ball
whatever.
slams,
Yeah.
and then push-ups. There's 4, so
Yeah.
we all start with push-ups. We go for a run, and then we just rotate through
Yeah.
the other
Through
3.
the- yeah.
We
Yeah,
should do that,
Yeah.
and then we could even do that Saturday tomorrow.
Yeah.
and then on Sunday we could do the same thing, but with lower body movements.
Yeah, that's a good idea actually. Yeah. I
Yeah,
like
because
that.
yeah, that's true. You can just do.
You could do
all
like
the-
leg press,
like,
pendulum,
yeah.
lunges, and squats.
Oh yeah, that would be brutal. Another way I've seen people training for high rocks is they'll do a certain run as like the buy-in to the workout, right? So maybe like a kilometer to 5 kilometers is like the buy-in, and then you do your circuit, and then the buyout is another run. So I've seen. So instead of doing it.
Right.
The running in between exercises, they'll do all the exercises.
Well, we just
right?
do we can do
Just try
what
it.
would be better for legs. I feel like
It would be fun to see actually.
we could do the upper body one way and the lower body one.
Yeah.
So would lower body be better having runs in the mix or only before and after?
That's a good question. I don't
Probably-
know.
I
I
would
don't
say
know if
before
I don't know if
and
it really
after.
matter that much, but I think during would be like hilarious. Like it would be like extremely difficult.
I think
You'd
during
go
would
from,
be
like-
better.
it would be. Yeah, it would
You
definitely.
go
I think it would be
running
more
6
difficult.
minutes
So
a
I think
K.
I would prefer that.
You'd go from 6 minutes running a K.
That's
to
what I was gonna say.
10 to
Yeah.
15 to
But I think it
20.
would be funny to see the difference between like the buy-in run versus the buyout run after a leg session.
Yeah.
it might just double in time.
I don't think so.
No, you don't think so?
No, I don't think it'd be that
It
much different.
depends. I mean,
You're always so like one thing is like, I mean, I don't know if this translates over, but like I always ran way better coming off the bike
Yeah.
really.
than doing a cold run.
Yeah. So
Like
I
even
okay.
if I did a 50K, 80K ride and my legs were like not like they were had a long
Burning,
2
yeah.
hours on them.
Yeah.
I still like they were like, it was just like continue going for the run.
Yeah.
So my run overall was much better. Everything was loose.
It feels
versus
better.
doing just like, okay, going out, starting now for a run.
I did it
Okay.
only. I
Interesting.
only did it once. I did a 20-minute like Peloton class or whatever, and then after that, I just did a 5K run. And you're right though, because your muscles, you're so warmed up.
Yeah, you're
And
warm,
As
right?
soon as you start running, you're already in the zone.
There's no
Whereas
that
in, like,
adjustment
when
period
you
where,
start
yeah.
running right away, cold turkey or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like that first click is your warm up, and it feels like, oh man,
Like I think even the first time I went off and did it, my first kilometer off the bike was like a minute faster than what
Yeah.
I was like, oh, maybe I have to slow down because I'm just like ripping off the bike.
Yeah.
And I'm like not pacing myself
Yeah.
type of thing. Cause I'm already like heart's pumping, blood's going.
Yeah, and
everything.
it's probably like hard to adjust to the pace because you're doing such different movements, right? Like you're pedaling like that, and then you have to get into a stride. So it's probably there's an adjustment period of that
Kind
first
of.
kilometer, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's all just like, I think monitoring your heart rate once you get down.
Yeah.
It's not like the movement. It's like you're not, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't think you like, when you get off a trampoline, you feel like it's not like that.
Okay, that's
really
that's
too
what I would
much.
think
Like,
it would be like.
well, when you run on a treadmill and you get off. Right?
yeah, there's
feels
not too
strange,
much
right?
of that.
Yeah.
Like I know, no, I didn't really get. I think that would come more sometimes like out of the water if you're swimming.
Oh yeah,
You're
zero
a little
gravity
more
sort of
like
thing. Yeah.
like vertigo almost.
Okay. Yeah.
But
No, that makes
I'm
a
not
lot of
good enough
sense,
swimmer
too.
even to get in the pattern to get to that point. So.
Another thing that I actually was meaning to ask you, I've been watching a lot of like triathletes or like Ironman guys train for like their Ironmans, and they seem to be like the amount of training they're doing is insane.
I know.
Like it's ridiculous. Like it's a full-time job.
Yeah, 100%.
So what was like your longest day of training when it comes to like actually preparing for the Ironman? Was it like, were these like real long days where you're like popping gels and stuff in between, or like really worrying about time?
Time like in my day.
Yeah.
I have it set up. I'm the
Yeah.
wrong person to ask.
Aldo should be probably the one to ask.
Yeah, because right,
Okay.
like my whole lifestyle facilitates it.
Yeah.
But even for me, like
Well,
yeah,
even then it's still difficult
big time,
too.
like big time. Because like what for me, it was like, I mean, yeah, a light. I was always managing like runs, so like I'd always go for a bike ride. My bike rides were always generally either an hour and a half on the light end or
Okay.
3 hours.
Yeah.
So there's 3 hours. Like a bike takes a long time. There's like you'll see on the videos that you watch, right? Like
Yeah.
a light ride,
It's
an average
insane.
day
Like
is
sometimes I'm like, is this the total amount of training they're doing, or is this just the run or the bike or the, you know what I mean? It's insane.
and then the run, and then you go for like, run for me because I'm not a good runner, but like,
Yeah.
in 30 minutes to an hour and a half run.
yeah.
And then the big like thing that killed me also was like then the pool.
Yeah.
So like for me, I had to go at 9:00 at night. So it was like, because that's just like when that pool had hours that worked for me. So 9:00 at night for as long as you can, like an hour though, essentially. And then, but that, like you got to go to a pool, you got to like do everything.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as just like walking out the door wherever you are.
Yeah.
A, to run, but even B, sometimes to bike.
Yeah.
So it's like 9 to 10 in the water, out of the pool and home by 10:30, 11. And then for me, I'm after the pool, you're like fucking wired awake. So it's like
It's
another
like
hour
way
or
till
two.
you fall asleep.
You're
Yeah.
hungry
Yeah.
as hell. So you're
Yeah.
eating and then so it's like 11:30. Now I'm like, okay, finally sit down. I'm pretty like, so
Just to
that's
get
long
up,
for
days.
me
just-
personally.
just to get up at like what, like
And
4 or 5 a.m. Just to have like a client. or
Yeah.
whatever
So
train
for me
client.
and I like for me personally, yeah, like I had to swim on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. My Wednesdays and Fridays and my Mondays are like again up at 5. So
Yeah.
like it was tough because I felt like I'd have to sometimes take a nap and stuff like because
Yeah.
on those nights it's 4 hours of sleep if
Damn.
if that.
Yeah. And that's like a killer, right? You want that. You need that.
Yeah. Well,
right?
100%.
It's
That's
it's
like,
crucial.
But it's like, and again, that's a lifestyle that like I can do everything basically from here. I have everything downstairs that needs. I can go.
Yeah.
Luckily, both the path.
Yeah.
I can run from here. I could bike from here. From home, I could bike from home out into the country.
Yeah.
But like, Aldo, who's he works at the hospital and is like, crazy hours. Those are the people for me that I'm like, fuck, those people are crazy because like they're super dedicated. And like, honestly, not to sound cliche, but like one of the biggest is like, so my mom gets up every day. Like she works in the States and lives in Windsor.
Yeah.
So she's like up at 4, like she's a super early, out the door by like, I don't know, 5 or so.
Yeah.
At work from 7 till like whenever she can leave, basically like 4 or 5. Get home at 6.
Holy shit.
Go to the pool.
Yeah, see, that's like the dedication.
She still like does her workouts. So she goes to workout. She'll go to a pool, go for a run.
Wow.
And it's like, that's after like, sure, not only to get in bed at like 9 or 10, but also to have an actual intense 10-hour workday in between there.
Yeah.
And then
On your feet all day.
And then
too.
because
Oh
you're
my
like so
God.
limited there, like your weekends are like, oh yeah, our whole morning is like go to the pool at whatever 6 or 7, then do their long ride, and then it's
Holy
1, and you
shit.
have. But for sure, like people like that's real. Like the amount of
Yeah.
hours, it's like 4 or 5 hours at least a day.
Yeah.
Of like actual in action training.
And that's
Yeah.
just like
Holy
for your case is like one event once a year, where some people
Yeah.
are doing like every 3 months they'll do an event.
Yeah.
It's
which
just
is
that's-
wild.
They just
Like
I'm
Aldo,
doing
after mine, he kept going. He's
just
like,
kept- yeah,
he's
he's
only
just-
going uptrend. Like, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, man, that's like, for sure. I'm late. Like, I don't necessarily like, I just got not lazy. I just like, I was thinking about this actually on a run the other day. It's like, people just know they check out something and check into the next. I think it's
Yeah.
like, if you're aware that's happening, then like, because I like knowing that like, I almost need to have the pressure to like,
to train.
this might just
to
sound
force
like an
yourself
excuse, but like, to like feel like I'm behind in training to want to push.
No, 100%.
But that's
I'm the
just
same
like
way.
going all in and all out on one thing to the next, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And so
That's the story of my life too, like 100%. And that's like, I'm very new into like this space of endurance, and I just like, when it's so new, it's like very interesting. Like I'm like, okay, I gotta get a bike now. I gotta start swimming and stuff. So it's like I find that, and then trying to balance like lifting on top of that, I find that exciting because when it comes to bodybuilding, it's very one dimensional, and it's like you can find any time in it to do your lift, eat your food, and do your 45 minutes of cardio, right? Like, but what really excites me is having to find the time and like fix the program.
What is that? Was it a spider? Is it landed?
That's
on
what
my
I
head
thought. It was
too?
your hair coming down.
Did it?
back of the couch now.
Oh, it's probably gonna crawl back. It literally fell on my head. I'm like,
Yeah,
what
I
the
was
hell
wondering
was that?
that
And
one.
I was like,
But yeah, like I find that super exciting, and like even like the programming aspect of it, and trying to figure out when you're gonna swim, when you're gonna run, and when you're what I mean. I find that super interesting.
It's fun for sure.
Oh yeah,
and you have 24 hours in a day, right? So you gotta every hour is accounted for.
Exactly. And then if you have other responsibilities on top of that, like you're just so busy.
Yeah.
So like I find that really fun, and there's not a lot of time to like. It sounds silly, but there's not a lot of time to think. You're just doing, and you're like executing, right?
Right,
And I
because
find
everything
that
every hour is accounted for. So you already know, and it's like, what's going on? What am I doing? You don't have to think about that. You just go and execute. Like you said.
But it takes a lot of planning. Like you can't really just like
No.
like what your mom does. Like she can't just wake up and be like, okay, I think I'll go at this. Like it has to be so
Even mine, like that's why I write everything down there now.
Yeah.
It's just so much better to do it that way and like have it scheduled and be aware, because you have to schedule like not every day can you just like go out for a 3-hour bike ride.
Yeah, exactly. Or
like
even if you did that every day, like you have to make up the time somewhere else. You need to figure out where you're gonna put that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And do a lighter day here or whatever.
Yeah. So
Are you gonna do the 20 or what?
what
Toronto?
the half?
Yeah. No, the full.
The full?
Or sorry, 40 full.
Yeah, the 40, I think so. I think like I might not have a great time, but like
Like, are you currently training for it? Basically.
I'm training for it, but I switched up because I was following like a half marathon training plan. So then I'm like, oh my God, I gotta,
Double
the kind
this?
of rule that I've heard is like, you don't want to add 10% more
Yeah.
each week. So I'm like, oh, well, that's out of the window. So I was like, all right, I'll change the training plan completely to where I have not as much time to prepare and I'm like doubling the volume of running. So I've been I've been more so taking a back seat on like trying to keep my strength and stuff. And like everything's kind of catered towards like more athletic movement and stuff like that, right? So I think I'll be able to do it. I think I will at least finish it in like the time that they're gonna be there, right? But
yeah, for sure.
What is like a cutoff time?
I think it's 6 hours and 30 minutes, which I have no doubt at all.
Yeah.
But what about you guys? What
I
are
don't
you guys
know.
thinking?
I'm kind of like just riding on your coattails over here. Like if you're gonna do,
He
I can't.
says 40.
I can't-
You know, this guy's gonna be like, yeah, I'll do 40.
Well,
Yeah.
if you do it, I almost just can't not do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
especially because like I'm the normally the pretty big instigator with.
Oh man, I actually
everything.
remember the day I came to Ian. I was like, man, I'm thinking about like doing like a half marathon or something. He's like, oh yeah, well, he's like, when are you coming to the gym? I'm like, I'll be there in a bit. He's like, okay. He's like, okay, so we're gonna do like, he's like, oh, we'll find one because I think I originally came to him with one that was like pretty far away. He's like, well, we'll find one closer, and
Yeah.
I think maybe. Oh man, maybe 5 minutes later, somebody comes in and she's like talking about the marathon she's
I'm
doing.
like, oh, there we go.
I'm like, oh, we're gonna do that one too. Adds me to the Showtime Run Club. We're like, all right, we'll get into it. So
You're on the list.
Yeah.
You're in it now.
yeah, but I was disappointed to see the half marathon sold out.
Yeah, it happens, man. Like I actually just got a thing. I got to put it in my calendar that there's only X amount of spots left. Actually,
For the 40, full?
for the 70.3 again in Montreal.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So I'll send you that link.
That's something that I'm really interested in doing.
It's
like,
June. You got time. So
yeah. Oh,
but so I
man.
just got an email saying there's like only X amount of spots left.
So that's a half Ironman, the 70.3.
yeah.
Okay. I'm super down for that. I just
I'll
suck at
send you
swimming.
the link. Well, so do I. So we got to go swimming.
Yeah.
We got to start going swimming. I don't
It's
know
like you
where it
focus
went.
on your.
I thought I was a good swimmer, but I'm not.
It
As soon as I
humbles
started
you so
tracking,
fast.
as soon as I started tracking my swims
Yeah.
and then
What-
comparing it to
Have you gone?
twice or 3 times
You
so
have?
far, yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So how'd it go? Because I've been
horrible.
like so. I think I remember. I said, "Tell me what it's like doing like 100." Like, did you do 100?
Did you try
meters?
going
What I
like how
do.
far you can go?
Yeah, so it was a 25 meter
Yeah, pool.
pool. I think I ended up doing like 15 laps, which
Back
is
and forth?
not in a row. I had to take a few.
Oh.
My heart rate's like 170 a
Yeah.
few times.
So,
So,
like, how many do you think you could have gone with it just like not
Without
having to be like?
oh, I think I did 8 unbroken.
Yeah. Okay.
So
And
I
then
was
you
like,
were like,
and then I
gassed.
was like, okay, I need a fucking minute.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
But
there
that's
must be a
still
better
eight, though.
technique.
That's
So
still
eight's
pretty good.
What? 200 meters. Or yes, 200
Yeah.
meters.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm like, but I think I could have I think I went too fast out the gate.
Well, that's swimming.
So I was like, I'm like, how do you even pace yourself in
Okay,
the water,
we'll
man?
go. Or like, do you have any guest passes there? See if you can bring a guest over.
Yeah.
there.
Oh yeah, I can.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been swimming at Boswick.
Yeah.
So
See
it's
if-
not bad. And they're like that. I went super early every time I went.
See what the policies are like for bringing me.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll just go over there one day.
Yeah. And if they have the late swims as well, like they have like 9 o'clock swims.
Yeah.
Which is, I know that's your style, but
It wasn't. It was just what that pool had, and it was just like other than I'd rather realistically go at 9 than like jet out of here at 1 in the middle of the day and go like it'd be 3 when I get back.
no, I'm the same way. I'd rather do either early in the morning or
Because I used to go at 6, and then my mornings like heavy now, so it just doesn't work in the morning. Because in the morning it was nice too. So wait till you get used to that, and then wait till you go to a 50-meter pool.
okay. Is that? Oh yeah, that's gonna be tough.
Not that it's just
Well,
different.
it's different because
it's
you can't
actually-
really. You kind of get a little bit of a break when you're,
Yeah,
and then when you're switch, right?
but
So-
it's actually a little bit easier because you
okay.
don't have that break.
okay.
You don't
So
have
you're
like
committed.
It's like easier to run a kilometer straight than back and
Then
forth.
yeah,
for a kilometer.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like
true.
you just get in a groove. So it's
Yeah.
like before, like in the 25-meter pool, you're like in a groove. Okay, turn in a groove, turn. Okay,
Yeah.
in a groove, turn. Where it's like,
Yeah.
but anyways, they had a 50. They have it early in the morning. It was 50 meters there.
The one you
Yeah.
go to.
The other thing about swimming is it's fucking terrifying when you're gassed. And that was the thing I struggled the most with. I'm like, I probably could keep going, but I also might drown.
Dude, that's my
That's
story.
literally- yeah.
Like that's what
Yeah.
happened to me, right?
What do you
That's
mean?
insane.
Like in the swim,
Yeah.
I didn't at the Ironman.
You didn't tell me anything about.
Okay, I'll just
fucking-
do like Cole's note version.
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, okay.
So for swim in an Ironman, you have or any triathlon. Basically, you're like, say starts at the bottom of that. You basically swim out, and the exits over here, and it's a transition into the
Yeah.
triathlon. So during the swim in any real triathlon or like long distance thing, there's like kayaks all over, right?
Yep.
Like so you can go and as long as it doesn't move you forward, you can chill on the kayak for as long as you want,
Oh, okay.
right? So okay,
Which
cool.
I didn't even know that. Right?
Like you can go and
Until you
like
told me.
depending where it is, there's like sometimes
I
there's
didn't know
like
that
docks or like objects or whatever, right? Like
Yeah.
again, as long as you're not moving forward by way of this thing you're holding on to, then you can chill there.
Yeah.
So like for me as a shitty swimmer, it's like, okay, I know like I'll try to minimize it, but like there's always people to go grab to. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna drown.
Yeah.
And so so it's like pouring rain, torrential downpour that whole day, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so you start the swim in like your anticipated finish time, right? Fast
Yeah.
guys at the front automatically just filter themselves up to the back,
Yeah.
to the front, and then kind of slow us at the back and everything in between. So me and my brother started ourselves kind of in the middle of the swim. So people were going off torrential downpour. Like this is 7 a.m, just downpour.
Yeah.
And so we get into this, we get in the water. I like kind of at the first like turn, I kind of grab a kayak. I'm like just completely gassed, obviously, right? Just adrenaline and like shitty
yeah.
swimmer. So I'm like here. And then I'm just kind of going around this picture frame, right? So if like I'm on this top point here and I'm kind of like about to grab another one, I grab another kayak and I'm just like
Okay.
catching my breath a little bit. And like, again, this is, keep in mind when I say catching my breath, like I'm maxed out heart, like you're in a
Yeah, yeah.
situation.
Oh, yeah.
So I get to this last turn and I turn in to go basically back into shore and it's still another like, okay, so if you did 200, it was probably another 500 meters. So,
Okay.
and I turn in and I'm like not going anywhere. Like I'm swimming and like I'm getting blasted in the face with the waves now and stuff. So by the time we had, I'd started and like kind of made that last turn, the weather had gotten like 10 times worse. So
Okay.
like I'm swimming into water. I'm not even moving. I'm like completely gassed. I'm like, okay, I need a kayak soon. And then at the same time, I hear like a bunch of people. I hear people in the water in front of me, like screaming, like "Help! Please help! Help!" Like
my God.
screaming, like not like
Jesus
help
Christ.
someone over here when they're convenient, like screaming. I'm like, if
Someone's dying.
someone's already at the bottom of the lake, if not, like someone's screaming for someone, right? Like,
Oh my
help this person,
God.
right? Blah blah blah. And I was like, holy shit! I was like, okay. I look around, no kayaks anywhere.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh man, like I'm like my legs are cramping. Like when I say I need a rest, I'm like need a rest or I'm gonna sink to the bottom. Like it's not like
Panic
is
I'm
starting
already
to
been
creep
like
in.
chilling on my back and like
Yeah. Not
catch
like
my-
strategic rest, like
Yeah,
rest
like-
or I'm going to fucking die.
Yeah, so I hear these people screaming, and then I'm looking around, like no kayaks anywhere, and I don't really know why. You don't have time to think of it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, but I know that like there's no one here to help those people, and like even if there was, those people need immediate help. So
Yeah.
that there's definitely no one to come help me. And at that moment, I get this like I'm like kind of entering like panic attack because you're like I'm out here by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's
Shit.
no one around, and like what do I do? And I start to like get into this like panic attack state.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, I'm like aware enough to say like, okay, if I have a panic attack, my like 5% left went down to 0 way
Yeah.
quicker.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, and I literally like I'm about to have this panic attack and be like, oh, I might like, I'm very
This
close
is
to
it.
just drowning.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
everything's tight. Like I can't even like I'm already hyperventilating and
Yeah.
all this stuff. And then like 20 seconds later, a guy lifts me out of the water, from like my shoulders basically, and a boat comes up behind me. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, thank God, obviously, but like, and so I'm like, they get me in the boat, and I'm like, my first things are like, oh my God, I'm sitting in a boat. Like, all of this is for nothing. Like, this was the number one thing that could not happen. It was just like, no matter what, just get through the swim. Everything else can just like, let it be.
Right.
If I fall off the bike, if I whatever, like, who cares?
Yeah.
But like, swim, like, just, and so I'm sitting in the back of the boat. I'm like, what is going on? Like, all this is for nothing. Like, the first thought that came into my mind was like, we're gonna be sitting at dinner tonight with like a couple people that finished it the day before. My brother's like faster than me till he actually got out of the water.
Okay.
So circling back, I'm in the truck, I'm in the boat, and I was like just super disappointed. I'm like just processing what just happened. And the lady, the paramedic that's like in the boat, because it's like there's like 4 or 5 people, other swimmers in the boat with me.
Yeah.
There's these paramedics, there's a driver, there's whatever volunteers, and they're like, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't like, what do you like,
it's done. Like,
and she's like, they canceled the swim. And so from the time that I got in the water, some people finished. The people in the water had to get taken out of the water because it was too conditions were too rough.
And some
then
people
so
didn't
the
even
last
start.
third of the people that like the slower, like the last third of
the
the
end of the
group
pack,
didn't even get in the water.
Wow.
So like that all happened. You're just in the water. You don't process how bad the weather is or any changing. And so I got so I got pulled out of the water. We went back to the start. Went back to the start of the swim, and then from the transition area to the start of the swim is probably like a kilometer walk kind of up this hill and shit.
Yeah.
And so we had to like get back to the start of the swim, walk back down, and we're all just everything is like, what's going on? And then like, we're like, are we going to be able to do it? They canceled it. Like, what does that mean? Like, who knows? And so there was like, I was walking back with a bunch of guys, and like, they had like taken the wetsuit off, and it was pouring rain. So like, I'm just like adrenaline dump like crazy, freezing cold now because I have just the bottoms of a wetsuit on, pouring rain. And I'm just like, we're walking back. We're like, what the hell do we do? Like, we can't, like, we're like, we have to keep going, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're like, yeah, like if we don't, that's nothing other than us just being a pussy.
Yeah.
Like, we have to go no matter what. Like, if you don't go right, keep going. Like, your mind beat you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so there's like probably 100 of us standing for the last people to like clear the water for them to do something out of the water so that we could then jump in and go to the bike transition and go off on our bike.
Okay.
And that was it. Like, as soon as like they opened the gate, you just instantly were like back in, like,
damn.
Because at standing there, I'm like, oh, I'm freezing. Like,
I
can't get the wetsuit on because like once you get a wetsuit on, like it's not going back on.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, are you kidding me? I'm gonna have to get up. Like I brought clothing. Like I brought a long sleeve, but like I was cold. I needed like almost like a windbreaker on the bike to start. I'm like, I'm soaking wet. All my shit at transition is gonna be soaking wet. You're telling me I got to get on a bike now and like go ride these hills on the highway for 90 kilometers? And just thinking of that was like, but anyways, you just started running towards the transition and like went on. But that was my swim.
shit.
So that was like the first swim that I had was like,
that's rough.
like it wasn't, I wouldn't call it like it actually traumatized. It was a very crazy experience. Like some people actually had like, had traumatizing experience where they almost like faced drowning.
Like almost
for
medical
sure.
alert.
Like,
Yeah.
PTSD.
but that was my first swim experience.
And right before that, you did a triathlon. Was it a sprint triathlon?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the swim like there? What's the distance in the sprint?
I want to say it was 700 meters.
So that was like relatively easy.
Yeah, swimming. I could swim too. Yeah, it was. Yeah, as a beginner swimmer, I felt pretty comfortable in it.
Okay, so
but it was like,
what's the Ironman? Is that double or like the swim for the 70.3?
It's 1.9 kilometers, so it was like just shy of 3 times that.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
That's wild, yeah.
And that was like, and so a couple weeks before, I want to say it was in Ireland or something like that. Some of the same condition, like the same thing happened where they canceled it halfway through, and like I think 1 or 2 people drowned.
Wow.
So that was like crazy. And then like
that's insane.
That's a real fear.
Yeah.
Like in an Ironman. That's like, because is the swim the first event?
That's
Yeah.
the first. That's the
Okay,
start.
so
And like that
probably rightfully so, because imagine doing the other two first, and then you get into the pool when you're already like.
But it's
that
also
fatigued.
like knowing that the support's around. Like the
Yeah.
reason why there was no kayaks is because so many people were already getting pulled out of the water, and like
Oh
the
my
water was so bad, so the kayaks couldn't stand in. Like
Yeah.
there was like a floating dock because it was kind of like around the shore, so there was a floating dock kind of like in the middle of the swim, kind of, and
Yeah.
like there's so many people were going to the dock once they realized the weather conditions were too bad that the dock started sinking because like
Holy
the dock's like
shit.
this big.
So
It could
this
only
weather
fit-
was like unreal.
it could only fit 20
it was
people.
like bad.
Yeah, there was like I watched the guy that actually won the pros. He was saying after that like this is one of the races that like as professional triathletes when we retire, this will be one of the days that stick out as like
Wow.
one of the crazier
We'll remember
conditions.
those
Yeah.
ones
Wow.
forever. Yeah, I mean, you will.
And I was like, oh
Yeah.
shit, I can't like nothing
Yeah.
will get harder than that.
And wasn't that the second year in a row where the conditions were awful?
Well, at least the first year you can't say it was hard because it got canceled in general.
Yeah.
Right.
This was like
Wow.
imagine starting right where the 1%
Probably the worst conditions you could.
Well, they
possibly
canceled
have.
it
Yeah.
during, so like it's like
Yeah.
1% before they would have canceled it. You go off and like got to deal with it, and it's pretty crazy when you think about like that no one did drown, and like that's
Yeah.
that's to say to how safe people actually are when
Yeah.
it's like normal conditions. Like you genuinely don't have a big like unless you have a huge phobia of water or something like open water
Yeah.
swimming,
Yeah.
then like you don't really have the worry of like drowning.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I didn't know that they had kayaks there.
Kayaks,
yeah,
too.
oh, yeah,
That's
all
cool.
over.
Like,
That
all
actually makes
over
me
it.
feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I was like, I don't think I'd be able to actually do an Ironman or a triathlon is because like fuck, like that's a long time to
And, like-
swim and not have a break. Like
Yeah.
I would have to really, really be proficient at swimming and practice a lot to be able to get to that point.
It's like the people too that like every single person, not let alone like the people on the physical kayaks, but like you got to just go to one of those events and see the whole energy. But the
100%.
people on the kayaks are like, like every single person is like the best person at talking you off a ledge.
Yeah.
Like every single person
Psychologically,
comes
yeah.
up to that kayak and was like, I'm done. Like I can't. I'm sad. I'm depressed. I'm panicked. I'm done. Like right. I'm
Yeah.
out of breath. I can't do this. And like those people, like 10 out of 10 of them almost are like
Wow.
make you like when you leave the kayak, you feel like you can just like
So throw a bunch of
it's-
social workers on the kayak.
not even
Bunch
like
of,
you
like,
have to
David
be like
Goggins
even
and
yeah, like it's not
kayaks,
even
yeah.
social. They're like people that have like even social workers wouldn't have that type
Yeah.
of like
They
know?
probably like competed or
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
they
sure.
must have if they're
Yeah.
at that event, right? So
Yeah.
that man, I want to go to are there any Ironmans
Not
coming up
really,
or,
like-
or any triathlons?
Yeah, when I went with him for the first one, it was pretty epic to
I
see.
want to just
Yeah,
watch one.
We
It's-
watched your mom.
It's tough too, like when you think like even at the Ironmans and stuff, because like you can't like you see over a 6-hour race or 4, whatever it is for you, anyone, you see people for 2 minutes during transition,
But the whole like
oh really?
right? Like you can't really watch. Like if you can pick it's like
Formula One race.
yeah, like you can pick
Okay.
one
Yeah.
corner, but like if I'm watching you, I'm like, okay, realistically, the most I'm gonna see you is like in transition. Otherwise,
Okay.
I'm gonna pick one spot on the bike or the run where you just rip by for.
That's true.
a
I guess
split
you're not.
second.
Yeah, I didn't even think about
But
that. It's
the
not like you're on
atmosphere.
you're driving by with them.
No,
so it'd
no.
be better off. You better off just watch it.
Well, we had an app.
on
I had
YouTube or
I had
You
an
can
app.
track them.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you
I was
can't even
tracking
get to
him and
one
his brother,
spot.
right?
Oh, okay.
And when I was tracking him and his brother, it was like, okay, like his brother is like moving, but this guy isn't moving, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, what happened? You know, like what's going on?
Ian
And then all of a
fucking
sudden,
Yeah.
it's like his shit doesn't pop up anymore. While Eric is just like somewhere in the
Ripping.
hills, just ripping it, like he's going.
My brother.
And
yeah.
No, yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm looking, and it's like, oh, this user couldn't be found. So it's
Oh
like,
my
is this guy
God.
like done? Like,
Oh
what?
my
Like, did
God.
he just like
Man, that would've
literally
made me
didn't
so
even finish
anxious
the
seeing
swim?
that.
And then afterwards, like a few hours later, or whatever, I was like, he pops back up. He's in the mountains somewhere, and I was like, oh shit. So
But yeah,
actually,
you can't really watch a whole lot like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
but the atmosphere itself is actually awesome. It's so cool.
That's what you were telling me actually, and you were telling me that as well. The atmosphere
Yeah.
is just like it makes you want to do it.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons I want to actually go because
and especially there itself because you're in that village.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
There,
it's like,
Mont Tremblant is like even more, I think, than just like
right.
the normal
It's exactly. So it's kind of unique because you're just in that village with all these like athletes
Yeah.
there, and you're surrounded
Yeah.
with them, and you're just like everyone's there, and then it's just a go. Yeah, but it's crazy. It's wild. That is wild. This guy almost drowned, dude.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's like,
Man.
you were looking for, you didn't see anything, and then all of a sudden you just get hoisted up
Yeah,
into a boat.
Yeah.
Well, you got to think the adrenaline dump was a huge
Yeah.
factor.
Well, and
like that's
freezing cold and
huge.
pouring rain.
Yeah.
Like it was huge. You're like,
That's like Hell Week, Navy SEAL.
yeah, yeah.
style
I
shit.
mean, not to say it's comparative, but like,
No,
yeah,
but, like, it
yeah,
seems
yeah.
like
You
that
were like,
way.
it was like, there's
mentally.
nothing. The last thing I want to do is think about putting on my short sleeve shirt and getting like
How long
shivering
did
my
it
way
take
on the
you
bike.
to go back into
Pretty quick. Like
pretty
as soon
quick,
as you
eh?
like, you kind of jog down, you're like, you're there. And then like, it's just, at that point, it was just battling the conditions like
Yeah.
normal, but it was crazy.
That is wild.
But yeah, so circling back, I got to check that out and see, look up
Three
the,
for three, man. Maybe we'll make it like third time is the charm.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have to join that one.
Yeah, that specific one is just awesome. Just
see if it's sold out yet.
area.
Edis, would you consider doing it?
When I was there the first time, I was like,
Do the 5150 though. That's,
do the smaller one. If I would do it, I'd probably start with the smaller one.
Like the sprint triathlon or even smaller
the
one
50,
of these?
Yeah, what is it? 50.
The 5150 is
5150.
the different. It's an Olympic triathlon. So a sprint.
Okay.
A sprint is half of 5150.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
God,
the
that
one.
give me so much. That picture up there gives
Yeah,
me
you
so
see
much
that?
fucking anxiety.
This?
Also,
No,
no,
the
the
water one.
swimming one.
Oh yeah.
God, so many people in the water at the same time. I'd be getting kicked in the face and
Yeah, you kind of just like stay in your lane, like, you know what I mean.
That's huge. Yeah, 5150 it would be like that's the one I would
I guess
probably
that's,
consider first.
No,
then go
23.
is this where is so?
There probably was no 24.
This
Shit.
is in Montreal, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Montreal.
And this is like the big one, like the real Iron Man one, like.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
Brands,
yeah, you can sign up right there. Yeah,
Relay.
you can relay. You can even do relays where someone swims,
Yeah.
bikes,
That's
and
cool.
then run. That would be cool
Yeah,
to do.
so
That's
it's
sick.
not sold out yet. Oh, I guess I didn't get a thing that sold out. It said, I think it said there was 100
Maybe a
spots
reminder.
left, or there was 100 or 200 spots.
We'll have to do a different fitness event every single season. We'll do a High Rocks and Ironman, a marathon.
Or just make this a staple and then add one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
An Ironman and like a High Rocks or something a little
Yeah.
more like strength involved.
Strength or can it's more like That's
You could just do a different High Rocks.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
or like, doesn't have to be a different location and stuff like
Yeah.
that. This is like,
I would travel to do.
I wonder how quick that's gonna blow up. I mean, it's starting to.
It's apparently it's been around for like a little bit. It was really popular in the UK.
yeah, that's what
And-
I heard. It was,
And
it wasn't
now it's like more mainstream and kind of
interesting to see is like who came up with it. Just sitting
Yeah.
down thinking about it. It's like maybe we should do something like.
Well, it
this.
has a lot of the principles and like aspects of CrossFit, but it
CrossFit,
kind of
yeah.
takes away like the shitty part of CrossFit, which is like the technicality. Like you don't really need to know how to be proficient with Olympic lifts and like these like super
a
like
clean and
nuanced
stuff, yeah.
these like nuanced movements, and it's more so just like a fitness race. I think is what like they would classify it as, right? Like, you know, but it's pretty cool. I've been watching Nick Bear prep for that High Rock, so I thought that was pretty interesting.
I wonder if it shows the elevation and everything.
Oh damn,
Probably.
it's a big ass rope.
Yeah, so this is
Turn
like
by
the
turn
hardest part of
directions.
it. Up this big, it's like me and Eric drove this. So you go out for this run or for the bike, you go out down this highway and then all the way back in and then back down here and then out here. And this right here is like, I think it was 10K. No, 20K, 10 up and 10 back down. And it was like, sometimes you're like this. It's crazy.
People probably
Damn.
get off it.
no, they
and
do.
walk.
They do. A lot of people do.
get off and walk.
Okay,
you know?
It's
So
like I
you
forget
can
what
do
that
that,
road is
right?
called. It's like it's oh man, what's the road called? If you look up that road in just like the cycling world, it's like
One of the
yeah, it's like a
Most difficult,
noted,
like,
maybe not
stretches.
most difficult, but yeah, it's like I want to say it's this one.
how was going down though.
Crazy. It was pouring rain. It was pouring rain
yeah.
too.
That's
like I think I
terrifying.
looked at it. I think my max speed was like 69.
I wonder what
Wow.
people go when it's like dry.
Oh, 80.
80?
Like a ton. Like the pros. But man,
100?
I'd be horrified.
it is. It's freaky, especially when it's pouring rain.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Like the shit
wild.
that can happen.
Oh yeah, man, the road rash you're getting from that, if you go flying
Yeah.
off the bike is crazy. Oh my
Man,
God.
when people fall off like motorcycles
Yeah,
and the shit that they get, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, I think
I
it's
feel
this.
like it would be even scarier on a little bike where the wheels are like this. Goddamn
well, you
thin.
fell. Didn't you fall like a few weeks before when you and Rob went for a bike ride? And you fell?
Was this a
Yeah.
PO like a GoPro of it?
Descent. So
Oh, there's a speed
Oh, they
right
got
there.
the speedometer on there.
Yeah.
so
So this must be uphill. or
yeah, but it's
now
still probably the descent. Like
Yeah, he's coming down, yeah.
man.
Wow.
I would just hate to do it right here where all the cars are, but
well, when the road's like completely blocked off when you
Oh,
do it
cool.
on the thing, but
where are you riding when are you just riding pretty much anywhere, any bike lane you can find, or is there a specific route that you have that
like, what do you mean?
like when you're practicing?
You went to like Sarnia,
like
didn't
he's
you?
at 50, 55. Look at 60.
60.
Jesus.
Look at
Passing news.
Wow.
Man, even getting to the actual like speed limit for most roads is crazy on a bike.
yeah.
Yeah. But when you're sitting in a
60.
car doing
Look at these
60,
70.
Holy shit.
75.
What?
Yeah.
The thing that I find fascinating about this is like particularly in
73,
Ironman
go.
isn't just endurance. Like you have to have some serious power output
Oh yeah.
to actually bike fast. So
Come on,
Damn.
catch another one.
Wow, that was wild. All the way up to like 75, 76.
yeah, I was almost at 80 there.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know if he goes.
But you were doing your longer bikes like
Yeah, so I
outside
do-
of London?
Yeah, I could just go on the county roads, really.
Okay. See, yeah, I felt like the best way to like figure out how to get into like biking and like find routes. I went to one of the bike stores downtown. And I was just like, all right, tell me everything you know about these bikes. Like where, like give me a price range and like where do you guys ride and like how do you guys ride? So I kind of learned a little bit from that. The dude there was sweet. He there's like gravel, like I didn't realize how many different road bikes, even in the subcategory of road bikes,
Yeah.
there are. Like there's like the gravel ones, the like
Yeah.
hybrid one. Like holy shit,
So many options.
yeah, and they're
And
so
then the
expensive.
price range
It's
is-
insane. It can
yeah.
go from like 500 to
15K.
15,000.
20.
Yeah,
Easy.
yeah. So
Wow.
You know what I heard actually? So there's like, you have to say, I think it's a Tour de France. You have to, this is what they do. So this could be wrong, but there's certain like, you have to, in order for your bike to be legal, it has to be retail. Like you have to be able to publicly available.
Oh, so it can't be like tuned up or whatever, or like
Okay.
custom made?
Yeah, it can be. I guess it custom made definitely can be custom made, but like if you go buy a $8,000 bike now, like or whatever, like I mean, use that 8,000 lightly, but if you go now, like Aldo just bought a bike, and online, and they give it's custom made to you still. But anyway, so you for Tour de France, you have to it has to be like, what's the word, like retail available, basically.
Yeah, okay.
You could buy it off a shelf.
Yeah, but what some brands do is they make it like $100,000. So that it's
God
retail,
damn.
but they make it so it's like a massive, so that like really no one's buying that bike.
Yeah.
But these guys, like, it's still a $20,000 bike, but they retail it for, they put it on their site or whatever for $100,000, so that like, you know, I get it makes sense.
Yeah.
But like, it's not actually like worth that, like as far as like
They're
the
just throwing it
components
up
and
there
everything.
just so it's like,
So it's like
unavailable
a
to
loophole
the,
that they're doing.
the
Okay,
Gen
it's like
Pop. Yeah.
loopholing it. Yeah.
Damn.
But I didn't think of that. I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Like,
How was your ride the other day? Was that your
Good.
first ride in a while, or
yeah, it was pretty easy. Like, it's with Springbank, you're kind of just limited too, because it's like people, you're on the trail and
Yeah.
shit. So it was good. It was like, it wasn't bad. I think it was 20K. It was okay. It was just
how
meant to
long
be,
does
like-
20K take you? Like right now, like how long did that bike ride last?
30 minutes.
No, I can't. No, because you can't go. Probably.
Yeah, they
like-
have a speed limit, don't they, on
Yeah,
the trail?
but yeah.
Who knows their
But I
speed?
think my
anyway,
average
so-
speed on it was like 25.
Okay.
So probably 45 minutes maybe.
Okay.
Because you can't really go any faster than that. Like,
Man, that's the cool part about biking is that's satisfying. You can cover a lot of
yeah.
ground.
Like on when I go in the country, it's like I'm pushing for 30. Like 30 is a good number.
Yeah.
30 an hour.
And then the
Damn.
wind factor too, right?
Yeah, and that kind of like that's your average. So like
Yeah.
if you hit the wind, you're also hitting the wind
Yeah.
on the way back and stuff.
Damn. That's
But it's like pretty crazy to think that like the wind's
That's
a
a
huge
decent
factor. It's like
speed,
you'll be
yeah.
gassed. I can't even keep 20 kilometers an hour, and on the way back you're like
you're just flying.
catching your breath,
Yeah.
and it's like 35, 36 kilometers an hour, and you don't even feel it. You just like
Yeah.
that's just how much more momentum you have, and you don't even like how effortless it becomes to go.
Yeah, I was gonna
faster.
ask you like what your heart rate's like, but like I guess it's so dependent on like at what part of the ride you're at, right? Like,
Yeah,
are you burning a ton of calories when you're doing like big rides?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a ton.
Okay.
You gotta think about it because it's a long period of time too. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Like, I don't know, like that one on the week on. When was that?
What's the
Tuesday. I
stats?
said.
Edis, do you ride often or
I actually don't
Outdoor.
ride at all.
no? Not at all.
My average
Not at
heart rate
all.
was 140.
Okay,
Average
which is
speed,
that's
25.
a good
I think
cardio
that's
session.
good,
Yeah. But like
that's like an
that,
aerobic heart rate.
40 minutes. It was 562 total calories. So 475 active calories.
That's a good.
Yeah, so if you go
That's
for
good.
if you go for double that, you know, you're at
Yeah,
1,000.
holy shit,
Let
yeah.
alone 2 hours. If you go for 2 hours, you're
2,500.
That's
dude.
Yeah.
wild. Well, and that's like
Yeah.
an average day of training for.
Yeah,
fucking-
exactly.
Well, maybe even less. That might be a light day for some guys.
and then that's just the run. That's just the
Yeah.
bike. So you do the same thing on a
Wow.
like active calorie wise, yeah, because you know Apple. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I'd be averaging 2,500 to 3,000.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
What was Phelps' calorie when he was doing swimming? It was
lot.
like an insane amount.
Oh, that he was consuming.
yeah,
like-
and
like,
like,
I actually-
consuming and
yeah,
like
like,
even
dude-
burning wise,
Yeah.
like it probably.
'Cause I
must
know
have been,
he
like,
was,
insane.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's
Thousands,
so
we're talking about
hard
thousands,
to not be in a deficit when you're training like
Yeah.
that. Like holy
yeah,
shit.
yeah. You can't.
Like,
That's
would you
that's-
say you were in a deficit for the better part of your training for the Ironman?
Like deficit, no, because you don't last. Like even Ironman, like and these, you'll see once you start piecing them together, like and doing more and stuff. Like even for a run, like do you fuel on your runs?
Yep.
Yeah, so like fueling is like one of those things where like
Well, I've experimented with it, but I don't consistently ever.
fueling is one of those things that like for an Ironman or a long distance thing like that, like if you
Yeah.
don't, you're just not finishing.
Yeah.
So you can't
Really?
like yeah, like I mean maybe you're finishing, but like it's a massive part is nutrition.
Huh.
So if I was in
it's
a
a
deficit,
huge
I would
factor,
just
I would
get
assume,
sick
yeah.
and not recover. Like you can't really like
Your inflammation,
Okay.
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, yeah. So, well, it must be hard for like a bigger dude to finish even. So would you like, how does that even work? Like, don't you think some guys would need to drop to be like I guess in a training block for an Ironman, you're not really worried about dropping weight, but because like if you're pretty heavy, like you might want to drop a decent amount of weight for performance.
Yeah, depend. This is the whole
right?
circle of why depends how much you want to balance it out.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure, I'd be way better if I was 10 pounds lighter.
But how
I
would
don't
you go
really
about
wanna
that?
do-
If you wanted to get 10 pounds lighter, would you fuel less? And then
I would weight train less.
really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like the thing.
That's tough. Do you ever see a point where you would do that?
No, not right now.
No. Yeah.
I'm happy with where I am. I know I can train better, and which doesn't necessarily mean less weight. I could eat better,
Yeah.
and I'm happy with how I look.
Yeah.
And also
I don't care
depends,
enough, like,
what
if-
do you
if-
care? Like, do you
if
care
in-
about your time and stuff? Do you want to
Like having said that though, like me and my brother, like again, Eric's like not. I'm in a totally different league of him, but like I could see myself.
In what way?
Like
You
he's
mean,
an
like-
endurance athlete. I'm a strength athlete.
Yeah,
So
okay.
he like
Eric would run for hours and
yeah, and
doesn't
he's
phase him.
like he does well on Ironmans. And
Oh,
stuff.
okay, okay.
So like me and him are just completely different.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh man, it just sucks that like we can't be competitive. But then I
Yeah.
was like, you know what? Like I definitely don't think that we'd be competitive, but what would narrow the gap a lot is like doing a sprint.
Yeah.
Like a sprint,
for
like
sure.
if I might be able to beat him on a all-out bike,
Oh, yeah.
just like power.
Yeah.
I'd end up losing because of the run and the bike,
Yeah.
or in the run and the swim.
Yeah.
But circling back to where you said this, like I could see myself like if the reason why I don't care to lose weight or size or whatever
Mm-hmm.
is because I'm not trying to like beat anyone or anything
Yeah, you're
like
not
that.
trying to be
But if me and
competitive,
Eric were like, yo, like, you know, let's
get
race.
serious, yeah.
I'd be like, I could sacrifice another couple pounds for this 6 months of the year, possibly.
Yeah.
But it's more so to speak on like if you're trying to be competitive, which I have not been yet.
Yeah.
Nor do I really care to be. It's more of just like the mental
Completion.
feat and like
Yeah.
getting through
Yeah.
it. And also, then the
challenge,
the
right?
impressive and challenging part is like maintaining a physique that like people are like doesn't make sense.
Yeah. No, that's the fun part. That's what I find more intriguing than either one on its own.
Yeah.
Like anybody can be I mean, maybe not anybody, but I feel like most people could be just jacked and have a good physique, but then balancing it with other things that
Yeah.
are counterproductive to what you're doing. That's where I find the interest, because you said this to me originally is like, you're fine. Your time in the gym is going to be almost like better spent, or
Yeah.
you're going to be more conscious of what you're doing in the gym rather than.
But having said like what you were saying, like anyone can be jacked. Like I don't think you could like become jacked and become a good triathlete.
That's true. That's
Like
yeah. That would be
we're talking
really
from guys who
hard.
have like bases.
Yeah.
Like if you were a 150 pound kid and wanted to be like even 180 shredded muscular,
that would be hard. To
you're not
do.
you can't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You'd have to like
so you
do one or
need
the
a
other.
base in order.
Like
Wow, I
we're
didn't
coming
think
from
about
guys that are like mostly strength training. They're most of their
Oh, yeah.
like whatever, and like now they're just trying to switch it up. Whereas
Yeah.
like a lot of those guys that do like the crazy guys that are like and they look like monsters and they're running doing all this crazy shit.
Yeah.
Like they were monsters before they did that, and they're just
Yeah.
probably trying to like become more functional.
Yeah.
So
That's
I don't know if
true,
anyone could
actually.
just become jacked. Like you'd have to be somewhat jacked
Yeah.
before it.
No, yeah. What I mean is like anybody can be proficient if they really dedicate themselves to one thing, right?
Yeah.
So if you wanted to be an endurance athlete and that was all you're focused on, then you would probably have a decent amount of success. Like obviously,
Yeah.
And
if
you
you have
probably
the
get
mind
better
for it,
and better
right?
too,
Yeah.
right?
But I don't
like-
know, man. Maybe me and you are like, because there's
On
a fun
par.
aspect to like adding a competitive nature to it
Oh, yeah.
once you're like in that zone. But like maybe me and you do
A sprint.
the first one. Do your first one in June, and
Yeah.
then the year after we're like, okay, we're racing. Me and you are
Yeah.
racing now.
Or we'll do a see who can maintain the biggest bench with the
Or something
fastest.
like that.
Yeah. So,
Or like
oh man,
certain amount-
you'd be miles ahead of anybody, man. You've benched up 500 at one point.
Well,
Would
when
you-
I was 19, that's completely different. I haven't.
that's even crazy.
I haven't benched
now.
over 150 pounds in 5 years.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
And you don't have.
Well,
to
you're
feel,
more so
you
just,
don't even,
like, cranking
care
out
about it,
reps.
though.
No, I couldn't. I don't know how
You
many
could care
times I
less.
could do. If you put 225 on the bar right now, I could probably do it 5 times.
Really?
Yeah.
Just because you don't really train
Yeah.
for it, right?
It's
When
just
was the
other
last time you
stuff-
trained for strength? Both you
I don't know.
guys.
Long,
Like,
long,
are you
long, long
like
time
Edis? Would
ago.
you say you train for strength right now, or
No, absolutely
No,
not. I'm
eh?
just.
It's not even strength. It's just
Yeah.
like everything else would start hurting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
I
but
feel
like-
I feel like I don't like, why would I want to squat right now 500 pounds, right? It's like
that's
I
true.
have no reason for that.
And
right?
really,
And
like-
it's like I'm only risking injury and like to hurt myself. Like
That's
you
true.
know, like what am I?
What are you
know,
really
who
getting
am I-
out of
What
that?
am I getting out of it?
Yeah.
right?
But the
Like,
thing, the catch is that like if I would be way more sore. I'd see way more development if I did 5 for 225 for 5. I'd get 10 times more out of doing 100 for 20.
Yeah.
Or 150 for
See,
20.
that's
well, that's a
right,
controversial
that's what-
statement, though.
I would.
You would?
Yeah.
Why do you think? Just because of the like joint pain and stuff like that? Or
No, just because
just
of
the
just
rep
like-
ranges.
Yeah, like
Because there's a lot of like right now it's very popular to talk about rep ranges and what's the most optimal for hypertrophy. Like, and some people are saying, well, I mean, a lot of people think that there's no difference between doing 5 reps and doing 25 reps if it's the same, like
overall weight.
like overall like fatigue. So if you take both to failure, then a lot of people would say
But-
there's no difference.
but I could never get the type of fatigue off
I agree with you.
225 than I would be doing 150 to
I agree with you.
failure.
It's a different kind of burn, and then the pump is different. Like,
And it's-
when you do
yeah.
those lower rep ranges, you're not really getting the same kind of just blood volume into the muscle and lactic
and
acid.
contractions
Yeah.
and controlled and
Yeah.
muscle
like,
activation
I
and all
definitely enjoy volume absolutely way
too.
more now.
Yeah.
Like,
of it. But then it's when you start increasing weight
right
that's
With-
relative to
doing
your
Yeah.
volume,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're like,
yes.
oh, this is sweet.
Exactly.
Right.
So I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't.
So it's like strength wise, I stopped caring about strength.
I couldn't even tell you,
like,
a long
yeah,
time.
exactly. Like
When I had to.
I just
basically,
yeah,
like-
I don't care about
Shit
it
started
anymore.
feeling wrong.
Right. Exactly. Seriously, no,
Yeah.
seriously. It's just
Yeah.
like, and then I asked myself, it's like, why would I do it? Like, you know, is it what am I trying to, like? Is it ego or like what? Like
Yeah.
what is it? You know what I mean? It's like, sure, sometimes like, don't get me wrong, like. I'd put on 225 and just like rep it out for like 10, 15 times or whatever, just to see just where I'm at, you know,
Yeah.
what's going on with my strength. You know, if I'm still good.
Yeah.
And sure, I'll bang out. Like, I don't even remember the last time I put on 315 on the bench, right?
Yeah.
It's like, at some points, sure, I was doing it for reps or whatever, but it's like, I don't care about it anymore, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, ever since I started going into volume and just doing, and all, not just like volume on a specific exercise, but doing like supersets.
Yeah. Oh,
You know what I mean?
Man, 100%.
Or like when we do like 3 or like quads, right?
yeah,
It's
like giant sets and stuff
that
like
is
that.
for
yeah.
me. That is for me so enjoyable because
Mm-hmm.
I just get a solid sweat and I can definitely feel it. Even as soon as I'm done the workout, it's like,
Yeah.
man, this feels awesome.
Yeah.
Like
Right?
I guess depending what your goals are,
It's
but like
satisfying.
I don't think anyone was gonna argue that like if me and us 3 go do that high rock style workout on Saturday, that we're gonna feel like we get 50 times more out of that than doing 10 sets of 5 max benching.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so-
just find it more like I like the feeling of just being exhausted.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I like okay, today was a good day's work. Like I like that. And I also like being athletic. Like when I
Yeah.
went through a big phase of just like training for strength or even just hypertrophy, like a bodybuilding style like phase of training, like
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? Like if I had to sprint right now, I might tear my hamstrings
Yeah.
off. Like I
Yes.
hate that feeling.
Yeah.
I like
Right.
being able to move and knowing I
Exactly.
moved almost like pretty much daily in like in a way
Right.
that most people can't, right? Because if you stop using it, you lose it,
Yeah,
right?
And the way
So-
we train right now, I mean, it's like I find that it's so dynamic. I don't feel stiff. You know what I mean?
exactly,
Right?
yeah.
It's like I feel so loose, and then also introducing running, right? It,
Yeah.
it helps. And it's just like it's so satisfying for me. Like I
Well,
said,
it's
just,
like you would feel that like shit, but it's almost like the whole part that like maybe people don't even think about is that like you recover.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not like you're doing this type of training and then not recovering. It's like you feel exhausted, and then the next day you're like, okay, I'm down to do it again.
Yeah.
Versus like being out for a week.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, like some people,
that's
if they
the
came
cool
and did this
part.
workout with us tomorrow, whatever,
they'll be
they'd
done for
gassed
like
for
a
like,
week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
if not injured or something.
Yeah.
right?
That's
So
true.
it's like-
That's actually I seen a video not long ago. I don't know if you guys saw this video. It was a video of this guy. He was trying one of his buddies like leg. It was I think it was a leg workout, or it might have not even been legs, and it wasn't even like that crazy of a workout. But this guy was untrained, and his
Yeah.
friend was like pretty
Yeah.
like you could tell he was trained, like he's been training like very hard, and I think like 45 minutes into the workout, he started like he got white as a ghost, and he just like sat down and he like spasmed up and he couldn't do any. He was literally paralyzed, and he's calling for help. And he's like I can't move.
This goes
He's like,
into some sort of
"Somebody help me."
shock.
I'm like, that's crazy that, you know what I mean? But in 6 months from now, that dude could be flying through that workout.
Yeah, totally.
It's so
I mean,
weird.
I go through this like almost every single time with a client.
yeah.
That's like I start to like, okay, you want to do this style a little bit, and we'll do the Airdyne bike, and it's just moving, just putting your body in
love
that
it,
movement.
yeah.
They're like, so many of them like are like, I don't even know why, but I gotta puke, right? And they're like,
Oh,
that
man.
killed me. Like we weren't gassing or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was just like going through it, throwing it in after some strength training, and then they're like puking, and then like 2 months later they come back and you're like, and they continue training, and they're like, man, do you remember when I puked the first time I did this?
Yeah.
Like I'm now warming up
Right.
and like actually giving it. So there's
Yeah.
definitely that like
Well, even-
aspect of whatever.
Even
like,
when I
shock.
like I didn't do ropes before, and now I'm doing ropes, right? And it's like when you first start doing the ropes, you're like gassed, right? You get gassed
yeah.
quickly, right? And now you're just like, man, I'm doing a warm up for ropes, and it's like you going for
Yeah.
like minute, 2
Yeah.
minutes or whatever, and it's just like it feels good, right? It's just like you just it's
It is,
seeing the
yeah.
improvement that happens is rewarding.
Yeah.
I guess,
It is.
right.
One thing about ropes, it's like one of the reasons why I never did it is because when I was young, it's like the most cliche
Yeah,
like
really? Yeah,
fitness thing to me. Like
I
like,
guess,
like
yeah.
because
I
when
get
you
it,
see like a
yeah.
montage or like a Reebok commercial, a Gatorade commercial, it's always somebody doing
Yeah, I
ropes, right?
guess.
And like when I was younger, I'm like, oh my god, like I gotta get some battle ropes, and that's gonna make me like the best athlete ever. And then later on, I was like, oh, this is gimmicky. But now that I'm
Yeah.
like reintroducing, I even got a pair like ropes from my home gym. Like
Yeah.
it's like I like it, man.
Yeah.
And you were talking about it almost like as a hypertrophy exercise,
Yeah.
like using it as like a shoulder finisher, and I mean like
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
In the
Yeah,
shoulders
and
that
in
we
the,
do, it's like when
in the
Arms,
program.
anything, yeah,
Arms,
yeah.
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it's-
it's a burner, dude.
Oh, dude.
At the end,
I do like you do.
I'm
Them,
a-
I think even the worst is like chest. If you like hold them together,
Yeah.
and then you're
Really?
like, and it's like you do
I'm gonna have to
after a
try
chest workout, like hold them
Yeah,
together
yeah.
and go like this.
Well, man, it's,
And
it's
you're
a
like,
good
oh
fit.
my God,
even
my
abs.
chest.
Like if you want to do Russian
Yeah,
twists with
yeah.
that, like it's very versatile, and it's like just like a lactic acid pool.
Yeah.
So I like it a lot, and I've been doing it more. But
And then I like doing like Tabata. You should do Tabata on it a lot.
I used to do Tabata a lot, but it's just like, you know what I need to do? I need to start throwing up a timer on the TV.
There's one.
in
There's
that
a
room.
timer in
that's
that
what I
other room.
usually do in that back room.
Yeah, on the
But is that
TV.
TV working? Sometimes it's on. and
Yeah,
off.
sometimes
I
it's
think the battery in the remote was dead.
Oh, okay.
it's
But
like
yeah,
long
that the
putting
ropes,
timer on, yeah.
the ropes, and the assault treadmill. I've been
Yeah.
obsessed with lately. I love that treadmill.
Yeah.
And
I like
at first,
the
I was like,
assault
I can't fucking use this thing, or else I'm
know.
going to be going full
I
tilt.
know.
Like,
Yeah.
But now I can like walk on.
I know,
it.
I know.
And
It's
it's just
so
like it
intuitive
takes a
once you
lot
get it,
of
yeah.
like getting used to.
Yeah.
Like now, I've been doing a lot of sprint intervals on that thing. So I'll do like 50-second jog, 10 seconds all out sprint, and then I'm back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Intervals like that. But
I don't know how long this battery's gonna last on the camera. Did you watch UFC? Yeah, you guys watch. Did you watch UFC?
I didn't even watch this card.
Oh, I did.
Is there anything on this weekend?
No. The next big one is the O'Malley one in September.
Yeah.
Oh,
In 2
there it
weeks.
goes. That's fine. Just basically up till there. So
How long does that battery last?
it's annoying because the thing, I had a cord that like you plug it into the camera,
Okay.
and it like this is still go. So basically
okay,
on it,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
like, we can just. I had a battery on it that plugs in the camera and it goes into the outlet, so it's constant power.
Okay.
but
yeah.
it got fucked up. Someone stepped on it or something. So now I just have to go to the battery.
How long have you been going for? It doesn't seem like it's been that long.
Hour and a half.
Really? It doesn't seem like it's been that long,
That's
really, to be
solid.
honest.
When you start talking, right,
Yeah.
it's just like
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have the UFC gun course. That was great. Do you have your license? No.
No, I don't. I'm probably going to do a job where I don't like.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
gonna be
true,
using
true,
firearms, but so I don't really want to like create
yeah,
bad
that's what you're
habits quite
saying,
yet.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've been thinking about just because I like even like for like if I wanted to shoot for recreation or to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
collection.
Well, that's what we
collection of
just went to
firearms.
the we just went to the orientation for one of the ranges in the Elmer one. So now
Oh, yeah.
we can go out there anytime.
whenever, dude. The day you called me a few days ago, it's like, man, I can literally I got 2 hours to kill. I could literally just go grab my guns and just go
Yeah,
shoot and come back.
which is sick.
It's
like,
awesome.
So I wouldn't mind going up there before I go to the cottage.
Cottage.
But
You gotta clean your
maybe
shit
Sunday
first.
afternoon or something.
You gotta clean your stuff first, bro.
I know I gotta go to Bullseye.
Yeah, clean. You gotta stay on top of that. Otherwise, it's just gonna start jamming.
No. I got that bolt that should come in the mail.
Mm.
So that one up.
How often are you guys shooting? Like just kind of whenever?
Honestly, now
We weren't
we'll-
because we didn't have
yeah.
a range to go to, so you had to have like private property to go
Yeah.
to and stuff, and then
Right.
it's just like.
But now I think, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I at least go once a week.
Yeah.
once
yeah.
a week would be good.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Theoretically, if you had-
maybe every 10, 12 days or
Yeah.
2 weeks, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
A
But-
couple times a month.
And then it all depends, what you're aiming for. What do you want to get good at, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to get good
That's
at,
true, too.
right? It's like
Yeah.
skeet shooting, long shooting, how far you can hit a target, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Skeet shooting's probably like the cheapest kind of shooting, isn't it? Like it's like
It all
it's only
depends.
shotgun, right?
Yeah.
Like
Shotgun.
can you skeet shoot with anything?
No.
No,
Just
shotgun.
shotgun?
But yeah, it's like
Birdshot.
it's probably not because you got to pay
No.
for the clays.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Cheapest is like what the 22 is. Probably.
22 is penny
Yeah.
a bullet.
Yeah.
You're good. But then it's like you let 2,000 rounds fly that day.
Yeah.
But which is
True.
some cost you
It's not
what,
bad,
$20
yeah.
bucks.
Yeah. So if you let's say you had like a huge property, like
You can just go.
you
out.
can just
As
go
long
out
as
there
it
and
meets
set up a
certain-
few fucking pumpkins
yeah.
and shoot.
Yeah.
Do
As long as
whatever.
it meets
That's pretty cool.
certain parameters. like-
Wherever, yeah.
And
it
you don't
all
have to
depends
ask- you don't
on
have to,
the
like-
region where you are, right? And
Okay.
But private property, yeah. Like as long as
private
you have a
property.
backstop, basically, and
Yeah.
you're not meets certain criteria. Like
you can
go out.
shoot
Really?
any farmer that has a farm outside of
I
London.
guess outside within London city limits. you
It's
can.
all exactly right.
Yeah.
So it's got to be.
But just outside the city, you should probably be good,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's what we did.
That's what we did. Yeah.
We have a buddy, so
Okay,
It's just
so-
like then you
yeah.
start feeling like, what am I going to ask him every time to come to his property?
Yeah,
and shoot
yeah,
guns?
that's true.
Like,
But it
you
is
kind of start to feel like a loser.
it is fun shooting on a private property just because you can blow shit up, right? When
Yeah.
gun range you can't.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah, it's kind of you can do whatever you want, I guess. I
Yeah.
mean, within reason.
So we'll see what it gets like up at the cottage.
yeah, get some tannerite. Blow shit up.
Can you get that at Bullseye?
Honestly, you probably could get it in Canadian Tire.
Actually, I think you can, or I don't know, but yeah.
well, we'll see.
You guys are gonna be in the Olympics like that turkey guy soon.
Pam.
One hand in a pocket.
But the handguns, we need handguns. That would be the
So
next step.
I'm confused about how that works. You can't buy handguns from
You can't buy handguns in Canada currently, right now.
Anywhere.
But-
Anywhere.
at all ever
At
like
all.
not even somebody that owned one previously.
Honestly, in the gun course that I took, they told me that even if your grandpa dies or your dad dies and
And
you inherit
passes-
the guns,
okay.
you can't even get that. That's
Really?
what
yeah,
they
like I
told
have
me.
guys there's been
Yeah.
a guy here that are like, I don't use my handgun anymore. You want it? Or he didn't ask me if I wanted it, but he's like, I'd give you this if I could even give it to you for free.
Right.
And he
Yeah.
can't even give it to you.
And that's the crazy part, right? Even that you can't even inherit it. That's how wild.
But if
it
you
is, right?
previously owned it before those laws
If you
were made,
have
then
one
you're
right
fine?
now, if you have one right now, you can go to a gun range and shoot.
Yeah.
No
Okay.
problem.
But how do they? I mean, you probably have to have proof of when you got it. I guess you can't just be like, oh, I had this before.
well, you can't buy it from anywhere.
You
So
can't
where
buy?
they-
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Unless
they
you
know
buy
that
I guess it's all
illegally,
fucking
right?
illegal,
Unless
isn't it?
you
Yeah,
buy
If you-
that's true. There's no loopholes at all. I
No,
guess,
if you got a handgun, if you have a handgun, you got it before a certain date.
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
banned them.
When was the date? Like if
Couple years
approximately,
ago, 2
so
years
it's
ago,
pretty
maybe?
I
recent.
think it's
Yeah.
been even longer.
Really?
Yeah, I think
But
it's been
fairly
even
recent,
longer.
right?
Yeah.
The new gun laws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they like apparently every month they're coming out with like less and less options of
Fuck.
guns you can actually
That's
even
wild.
buy. Yeah.
So
And now it's getting to a point that it's like people are telling you, is like, you know, get a hunting license, right? Because it's like the next thing is going to be is like, why you own gun, just to recreational, right? There's like, right, we'll cancel that, and then it's like, I'm a hunter, so I can just hunt.
yeah,
Right.
do you guys have any interest in hunting at all?
I do.
Yeah,
Definitely.
sure.
I want to get into it for sure. Like but it's kind of one of those things where like you kind of have to know somebody.
I'm trying to
get
go
into it.
It's
turkey
just like
hunting
you gotta
right
just
now
do-
in like
it's-
September, October, like in the fall.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go turkey.
It's a long
Okay.
game. Like it's a long play. Like
Yeah.
hunting. It's
Like
like
for
one
me-
year
Yeah.
get your license.
It's
Next
such a,
year,
like,
get your like
small
gun.
discourse of
Right.
people that are actually hunters.
For
you'll
me,
get
for
in.
me, it's like it's
Yeah.
good because I have the options to go with people hunting. Right?
Yeah.
It's like that's one aspect where I can actually do, and they have property to go hunt on too as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if I have the opportunity to go this year, I definitely will.
Yeah.
And even if I don't, get a kill or whatever, it's like just the experience.
The experience, yeah.
And
Having more purpose to it.
right,
Yeah.
right. So it's like
So you're using obviously rifles when you're turkey
rifles
hunting?
for like big game. I would like.
What do you use it for turkeys?
Turkeys, shotgun, or bow and arrow.
See, I would love to go bow hunting. That would be
bow
fucking
hunting.
sick.
That's like the new thing.
Yeah, bow hunting got to be bow shooting for
But that's-
5
yes,
years.
exactly.
Yeah, you got to
that's
be
the
pretty
thing,
proficient with a
right?
bow.
Yeah.
with
And
a
for
compound
turkeys,
bow.
like you sit and let the turkeys come to you, right? It's like
Yeah,
you don't actually
call
go
'em.
seek it out and call,
Yeah.
right? You gotta call them, and then that's pretty much it. But I think per turkey season, you get 1 or 2, I believe. And
like
that's it.
tags for
Yeah, just 2
okay.
tags. 1 or 2 tags, I'm not sure.
Huh.
And then that's it. It used to be once a year, I think April, end of April through May, and now they introduced, I think you can even do a fall hunt for turkeys.
That's sick.
Coyotes are all year, I think, all year long.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, then we
Yeah.
get rid of those things. Huh?
And-
You can't eat coyote, can you? You probably could eat anything, but
Yeah,
or that's just
I
a
don't know.
recreational hunt, or are people eating coyote?
No, I
not
don't know.
ju-
Can you kill coyotes in
you're-
Canada? And
Yeah, dude. I mean, because there's just so many of them, right? And they're That's. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what I've been hearing. That it's just like there's just too many of them, and you want to get
It's like
rid of
how hog hunting is in like Texas or
right
wherever.
overpopulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One takes over the other, and then you just gotta control it. I get that's why you have hunters, right? To
Yeah,
control
exactly.
The wild game life.
Yeah.
Deer would be awesome. Deer. I mean, if I can go deer hunting.
Yeah. So what can you hunt in Canada? Is it limited to anything, or is only certain game you can?
There is a list, but on
you gotta
the top
get tags
on the
for 'em
top-
and
you have to
everything.
get tags.
How difficult is it to get it? Do you guys know how difficult it is
Tag?
to get a tag for?
Tag is easy, man.
well, it depends
You
for
just-
what.
Right. There's lottery for a certain tag.
Like
Really?
moose,
Yeah.
you might apply every year and not get anything
right.
for 10
Correct.
years.
Right. Or like elk. I
Yeah.
think elk is
Yeah.
a big one. People say is like if you get an elk,
Bear, like where you can hunt
fuck.
bear and
Bear
shit.
would be
Like
sick.
you're not gonna. It's not like you're gonna get it.
That's
but
funny
like
because-
a turkey tag, you just go online. You have like as a hunter, you have your like wildlife license or whatever or profile. You just go in there, apply for a tag, pay for it, whatever, $5, and you can go turkey hunt. And then at the end of the season, you report whether you
Used
it or not, and then that's it.
Man, I would love to just like be a hunter and have a butcher that I go to and like, hey, just caught this,
Yeah.
and then have meat stocked up for months.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's
That
like
would be awesome.
the good thing about it is like you kill the animal right without being the animal being in stress because it just
Yeah.
like it's instant death right
Oh,
because you got to do
yeah.
a kill shot right
Yeah.
you want to make sure that the shot is clean and a kill shot and that's it right so
Yeah. And the thing is, too, there's probably a lot worse ways those animals could go out in the wild.
Oh, every
course,
way probably.
Yeah, pretty much. That's probably the
Hit
best
by
way
a
to
car,
go.
hit by a
Yeah.
truck, right? And
Yeah.
then, like,
Shoot,
right.
Yeah, eaten by a,
Even if you get hit by a truck, right, you could be still like a living for the next like
day,
day or whatever,
Yeah,
just
who
suffering,
knows?
which
Yeah.
is sad, right?
Yeah.
So
that's the thing that
and
is
same when you do, like, you want to be certain to have the shot, because
Yeah.
if you're not certain, you're
you don't want to hurt the
Right,
animal,
the
make it
animal's
suffer for
gonna
no
suffer,
reason, right?
yeah.
Because it might be hard to find after that. After you shoot it, right?
Man, there's been cases where hunters been telling me they searched for days. Then night came and they had to go home and then come back the next day just to find
Wow.
the animal. It's sad.
Yeah,
it's really sad,
that's
right?
tough.
And then the animal starts going into different properties. Then you have to go ask the property if you can go on it, like a farmer. You have to find out whose farmer it is, like where the farmer is, all that.
Wow.
You can't just like start looking for the animal. You got to know what area you're looking at. And
Yeah,
what you're
you gotta get
allowed
a
to look
perimeter,
at, right?
yeah.
As soon as it crosses a line, now you have to go ask a permission to enter the land to like go look for it, right?
That's complicated,
Yeah.
especially for
It does.
Just
so
because you
that's
fucked
why
up a
you
shot.
right. You can't. I mean, when it comes to hunting, I don't think you can just like jump right away
Oh,
into
yeah,
it.
for sure.
It probably takes years. That's why you want to go with somebody.
Yeah.
For so many seasons until you actually start becoming, and then you have to go to a range and practice shots, right? Make
Yeah,
sure
100%.
You're accurate. It takes time, and some get it quick, and some don't get it all, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Right. So
What else you got? What are you doing this weekend?
party.
Yeah, I'm just we're doing a high rocks. So
True.
That rocks.
Okay, you want to try and do that tomorrow afternoon?
yeah,
You?
give me a time,
I'm
man. I'm
down.
down.
Are you gone? Are you?
Oh, I might be gone though. Oh, next week. I'll do it next week. Next weekend.
Yeah.
Let's don't do it short term. Let's actually like plan for it legit.
Yeah.
When are you leaving? Are you leaving soon to go?
Not for probably if January, if not even later. But
Okay,
Yeah.
so well, let's do something then.
Okay.
All right.
yeah, I'm down to Ian. If you want to do one
Yeah.
tomorrow,
What
still
time
I'm
are you
down.
leaving tomorrow? Fuck this guy, basically.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, 8:00. Let's do one in the morning.
No, unless Adam's joining us, which I don't think is.
Just tell
high
Adam, let's
chances.
go, baby.
No. Okay. All right. Whatever. We'll do it at some time. But yeah, I'm
figure it
down.
Yeah, we'll do-
afternoon or something.
Yeah, and
I
that
don't
way
know what
we'll
the
have a better
weather's supposed-
system. We'll know what it's like, and then we'll have a good one for you.
I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like tomorrow. Not that it really matters, but nice. Okay. All right.
Until next time. Thanks for listening. See ya.